Okay, that's enough. I don't want to get a cut. Man, you guys have no idea what I've been going through. Maybe some of you do. Maybe some of you can feel me. I can probably feel you. I know that a lot of us are going through a lot of things in the holidays, and I send my love and peace and joy to each and every one of you. I don't celebrate those things. We had a family day at my house, but I'm not into those things since I learned about them, but I'm not here to talk about that. Man, today is going to be, a little bit more intense kind of talk, but it has to be done. I put an essay out on Facebook. Elizabeth Pride, that's my name. I'm not hiding. Pride, Pride, the Pride Piper. Elizabeth, yes. Anyway, I'm going to share that essay today. I wanted to say, though, that essay is based on a lot of research that I've done on like Illuminati insights to the Disney programming, Black Rabbit, just some different things. I've done all the research. So when I read the essay, I'm not going to note the footnotes and stuff because I just don't have it put together like that yet. So at this point, I'm just sharing it as an essay. So though I took from their words, I made my own words. So hopefully I don't infringe on anybody's, business or otherwise. But sometimes I'll be doing the stuff in a state, a trance. So if that happens, I'm sorry, but I don't think it did. I'm pretty cool that way. Anyway, welcome. That glare, you guys, I'm sorry about. Let me just, okay. Wrong way. Eckankar Spiritual Center. If you go and you look at Paisley Park on the Google Maps, as I mentioned in the other video, look across the street from Paisley Park, you're going to see Eckankar Spiritual Center. And pull back on the Google Maps, and you will see that part of the center looks like it's in two parts, and it's really made out by our creator, and he does things in fantastic ways. But the top half of the map of the Eckankar Center looks like the monkey. It looks like either like I said before, in the 1999 pictures and all those, there's like a little space monkey and he's riding a UFO. The space monkey looks like the top of Eckankar Center and the bottom part looks like his bottom space body. I know it sounds trippy, but go look at it. Anyway, Eckankar, you guys, capitals and smalls. I don't like to call them lowercase, smalls. Anyway, you can see different things when you look into it. When you look at it upside right, and do it for yourself, write the word in the mirror, and then look at it upside down and upside right, and you will start to see Shaka Khan. You will start to see canker, cancer. You will see chicken dinner. Like maybe if you guys don't, I'm telling you, that's the way it is in gematria. Now, also, what's very important to see is when you do write it in lowercase, you see that I have the purple ones there because Ek and car, those lowercase, that is an E, and the two other ones are G. And upside down gematria, that spells egg. That's right, the egg at Paisley Park is related to this. It's all related, trust and believe. So also Love to the Nines, 1999, Winner Chicken Dinner on the 21, the opiate crisis, the 21 blackjack, they say it. It's the same thing. So I want you guys to take a look at that. Canker sore, cancer. Ek is basically egg. They call them Ek masters. It's a lot of things, you guys, and it's definitely Shaka Khan. See from the top, Shaka Khan. All right, cool. So, thank you for sharing. I'm in a mood. Pardon me. I understand that there's people out there that may think that I'm just being crazy or goofy or just trying to talk smack or conspiracy or whatever, but the stuff is told to me by the creator. It's well researched, and I'm going to show you why. The reason I put the words Illuminati in the title is because I know that only certain people think that they're interested in hearing about stuff like that. And the other people either don't know about it or they just want to duck and cover. It's like putting your head in the hole in the sand and just pretending that the things don't exist, but they do. And they've existed since the beginning of time. And as the lyrics I will share with you, they have a reason and they had a purpose, and it was to show us what's wrong with society. And so if there isn't anything bad, how do you know what's good? So it's pretty much easy to understand like that. But if you don't recognize it and you pretend it doesn't exist, you're not helping either. So I know that some people think, what can I do? Well, you can educate yourself so that when it's just educate yourself. And that's what I'm here to do. And try to make it not like frightening or anything, but just share with how it relates to our Prince Rogers Nelson and so forth and so on. But before I get there, I wanted to read, if your last December came, what would you do? Would anybody remember to remember you? Did you stand tall or did you fall? Did you ever find a reason why you had to die? Or did you just plan on leaving without wondering why? I could sing it, but I'm not going to. Was it everything it seemed? Or did it feel like a dream? Did you love somebody but get no love in return? Or did you understand the real meaning of love? That it just is and it never yearns. When the truth arrives, will you be lost on the other side? Will you still be alive? In your life, did you just give a little? Or did you give all that you had? Were you just somewhere in the middle? Not too good, not too bad? We need to come together, you guys. The song goes on to talk about how we need to come together as one, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's just tough, to talk about some of these things. They took my breath away for a minute there. It is December. My birthday was 2 days ago, my 51st birthday. I don't really count time, celebrated my call them born days. I do say happy born day to people. But man, I have a job to do, and that's what I'm trying to do. So listen, this is what I wrote. I said, but listen, this shiz is not all fun. It's just about truth. And the truth is kind of stranger than you can imagine. So I have to share this stuff about the inclination in the world that is the opposite of good. Look at the word devil and evil. It's planned that way. It's purposeful. Devil, evil. Let's just take away the D. That's common sense. This devil, this evil, this whatever you want to call it, is basically just energy. It's a force in the world that wants us to feel as low and confused and anxiety-ridden and separated and fearful as possible. That is the evil inclination, the one that tricks you into believing that you're not good enough, the one that, told me I should put on a full face of makeup before I come and sit down here and do this so I could waste an hour and a half doing that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come here and do this because this is what needs to be done. And we all need to be doing what we can do to recognize our Creator and draw him near to us and beg him to be near us and have mercy on us. Because, man, this society, even if you've been a good boy or girl, this society as a whole, we are all one. So we all need to take that same accountability. So draw him near. That's what I mean. This evil, whatever you want to call it, is our energy, and they have a home base. They are the bloodlines that desire to exist within the flesh of not only our glorious Creator, they wait to access you as well, as addressed in the spoken part of family name. First of all, the word black and white is a fallacy, another way of saying this or that. Let's examine the term this or that in its ultimate form, which is this means the truth. This right here means the truth, or that which is resistant to the truth. That would be your own inclination to resist the truth once you hear it. Like if it vibes with you, I'm not forcing anything down your throat, but I'm saying, like, if you feel a truth from the Creator, or you feel a truth and you want to investigate more, and that whisper or that hearing or that knowing, it's on you to investigate it from there and not ignore it and be accountable for it. And I think a lot of the reasons people don't do that is because they think it's going to be, weird and change them, but it's going to change you for the better and something you can do on your own. You don't have to go to a brick and mortar building for. Do it your own way with your own creator who lives in you. Okay. Just like your best friend. Anyway, sorry, I bumped up the lyrics. When a minority realizes its similarities, take any race, take any minority. Let's take us, the human race. We think we're pretty something. We like to take selfies and, do all kinds of things in this world. We're pretty focused on me, and what brand we're wearing and what we're doing. I'm not. I used to be probably sometimes, but not really. But I'm saying it's a me society. And so we need to realize our similarities and not just be that and not just sorry, when a minority realizes its similarities on a higher level, not just of people of color, but higher still, indigenous, and even higher still from the tripod, and even higher still, the Rainbow Children. Of course, that's from the Rainbow Children CD. When this understanding comes, the so-called minority becomes a majority in the wink of an eye. Imagine that. Wink, wink. This action will cause a reaction or a resistance. The source of this resistance must be banished as it is in conflict with oh shoot, I stopped writing the lyrics and I forgot them. As this must be banished. This is resistance with resistance. Oh dang. Whoops. Go look them up. Cliffhanger. Anyway, what that's saying, you guys, is basically that, we have to realize that we're the same, that we're similar. And, a friend that I used to have used to say to me, because I didn't vote. I never voted or anything. And she'd be like, well, your son is biracial. You should be concerned about Obama and Trump and this and that. And I'm like, my brain, no, please don't say that. Don't ever, we couldn't, no, because it's either this or that. You can't put those people in power. You can't look to them lean on them for understanding or anything at all. And if you think that you can, I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. And that's just a fact. So anyway, the watchers here are probably not into politics. So if you are, please just stay with me. We can learn that they're the lie and we're against them. So I try not to be mean, so forgive me. Anyway, I said with friends like he had surrounding him, who needs enemies? Man, I told you guys I'm in a mood. I said we need to be his friend as he never had any before, living in this strange land of illusion where his body is a prisoner and his soul even more so. He never smiled, for real. When I met him in the heavenly place when I passed away, a life after life on 7/20/10, he never smiled, and I asked him why, and he was a prisoner, and he told me. He was always sad. I asked him when I met, why so sad? I remember. Therefore, let us not be surprised that due to these lineages, they wish to keep secret the true soul secret that is being held captive. That is our creator, the one the world knew as Prince Rogers Nelson. He signed the original contract to let them utilize some of the power that he had to train us about who he is and why he had to make their kind to expose what's wrong with society. So, we, as these human beings that we know ourselves to be, we have the power to acknowledge that these things exist and stop pretending that we are so blind, like with our heads in the ground, like I was talking about earlier, like that bird that sticks its head in the sand. You can't do that. You have to be accountable because you're going to be accountable one day. So you might as well start now. That's my hope. I'm trying to help. This is what it says. You've got to try to find a way to respect all the sacrifice, all the knowledge, the risk of exposure. When I say risk, yes, this is not easy work in this world. This world is a fabrication of lies. There is no truth in it, and anyone who tells you they are holding it is lying. Anyway, back to a few. That's done with that. So that was just something I wrote. These things I try to take out. I write them at totally different times. I don't write them to go together, but then I try to bring them together for a nice little program for you. Trying to get better and more organized. So, you guys, I just want to say that again, I'm going to read you that essay now because I asked some people in my family. I feel a little slightly silly coming here and reading aloud, but I asked my family at our holiday party there, meet the baby party, birthday party, whatever it was, how they felt about reading. And even though I know that they loved reading in the past, I asked them what it'd be to read like 10 or 12 pages. And they're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time. They're babies and kids. And a lot of people have that. And maybe they'll just put this on in the background and listen. So I'm going to read that to you. But again, I wanted to show you that the things that I'm sharing with you today, as far as the Disney, sorry, you guys, the Disney Illuminati file. It's called Deeper Insights, The Skill of Lying, the Art of Deceit. I had it on a website that I can't seem to, I'll try to get it posted, but there's a whole essay. There's all kinds of research here that I did. And so I did all the research and then put it together in a nice little lovely essay that nobody wants to read, but I think it's very important. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. You know, you don't have to watch me because I can't look at the camera all the time, but I'll try so I can connect. I know I'm a goof, you guys. I know. I have to be. It's me. It's me. Pardon me. I'm going to read it as is because it's not a finished product. So I struggle to not correct my own grammar and punctuation and stuff like that. But this one's pretty clean and organized. So feel free to listen in. Thank you. Thank you. Deep breath. I can't stand the lies. I feel like the painting, the silent scream. I have so much to say. I'm trying to say it, yet it feels like the words aren't coming. After spending countless hours reading these scripts, investigation scripts, it becomes more clear that no charges could be pressed in the death of Prince Rogers Nelson or Prince because everyone involved is in on the collusion. There is no one to charge because Prince self-administered the fentanyl, the world's biggest, most shameful cover-up, one that was surely orchestrated by the one in order to expose who they really are. You see, as quoted by yours truly, when you try to play P, you play yourself. I say that all the time. He knew what the plan was. He is the plan. He signed the contract. However, because they reneged in their timekeeping, we made another plan. One that will surely shed enough light that the entire planet can embrace it. Think about it. That's why the chaos and confusion surrounding the media story. The greater the darkness, the greater the light. Yes, that's our man, the greatest soul we'll ever know. Let me count the ways I love thee. I am going to expose every last trickle of misinformation and mass media propaganda surrounding this case because the lies are biblical proportions. In fact, those words are the Holy Funk Scripture. Read on to see how good it feels. Taste the truth. Taste the Torah. To feel the light, it is pertinent that you recognize and acknowledge the dark. There are forces in this world that are making plans for your grandchildren's demise, pondering new ways in which to enslave the human mind and eventually the soul, www.u.com. This is done in a myriad of ways: television, skagazines, rumors, north, northeast, west, south. They spread the lies through thin air on the internet. Pure propaganda everywhere you look, telling you who you are and who you are or should be, what you should own or buy. That you should believe you're nothing unless you go to this school or drive that car. A generation that does not believe anything they don't read on the internet. A generation that has been molded to just say no to wisdom. And I don't mean any insult to anybody younger generation watching, but understand that wisdom does exist in the world, and I'm trying to share it with you, and the way that the generation has truly been molded to just say no. So I'm not going to do that again. I just want to read it. I digress. See, I did it again. The others believed that they would let Prince go down as a washed-up singer, that no one would care. He would be another soul lost to the toxic musician opiate cocktail. We, the people, would shrug our shoulders and collectively think that we understand that rock and roll lifestyle can be pain. The pain of rock and roll, sex, drugs, body parts hurting, expectations, disappointments. We surely and immediately feel empathy and go our merry way, never really wondering why, until now. In the interest of helping, I said the reader, understand my passion and intention, my pure desire, my will to move forward, I would mention my life after. That's all. Just to say that I was gone an undetermined length of time, but long enough to turn bluish shades of purple. My daughter says 10 minutes with minimum CPR and no Narcan. I shot back as the paramedics were coming upstairs and woke with a deep inhale of breath. What that experience has to do with this story is everything. I explained the mysteries on my YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I didn't know that was there. My life after death led to the revelation that the one the world knew as Prince Rogers Nelson was a man who gave his soul, his essence, as an endless, ever reincarnating holy soul. He gave that soul for all of us. I will do the same. He is the endless, the unknowable, but he showed himself to me. Why? Not because I'm so cool and special. Well, I am, but I know you think she's really special. I truly am. You have to be able to recognize your own uniqueness, talents, and specialness, and to love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, oh, what's the song? Love yourself till everyone else does too. It's on Emancipation somewhere. It turns out I met the truth in human form. He also exposed himself to me as other things as well. Everything. The one. I saw him on a throne chair, but I also saw him in an electric chair with a hideous black mask to hide his beauty. The others did it. You think the portrayal of Christ's suffering is heinous. You have seen nothing. Digressing again, the human soul is endless. You can't see it, but I did. I was introduced to my own soul when I was there, introduced to my capabilities, seeing who I actually was and am meant to be. I was shown my soul purpose. Everything I had ever done did not flash before my eyes. Rather, it was explained to me in a telepathy type real or like visual. I suspect it's reminiscent of what redemption will feel like when you can access all parts of yourself at the same time. It all just makes sense. Having recognized his soul while I was there, we went strolling. And he explained many things about creation, planets, souls, space, layers of stratosphere, and reincarnation, to name a few. I know, right? It was explained to me that those that he had put in charge of certain responsibilities as he aged started running their own game, planned on tweaking time in a way that would leave our creator and or myself eternally stuck as slaves, everybody, along with all of you. I said that again, and I'm saying it now. You should too. This investigation, the one that I came to set straight, is similar to the plan I discussed above, where those that were put in charge, but they cheated and lied. I'm sorry, some of it it doesn't make sense if you read it out loud, but only if you're reading it. So my bad. 1 second. Let's start with the mass media lies surrounding Jim Olsen's press conference on PBS at 4 p.m. The cover-up is so thick, I need to ask your patience in the slow exposure of the many things I have to say. The investigation charade is the epitome of the sacrifice of Victor. For those not in the know, this is an extremely powerful guitar rock ballad about sacrificing a soul named Victor. Considering this, don't you think it's crafty the way that Martha Weaver, a medical examiner spokesperson, Martha Weaver, that's a V as in Victor, acknowledged her own guilt whilst spelling her own name? That was at 1 minute, 2 seconds. Jim Olsen. She said, Martha Weaver, V as in Victor, W-E-A-V as in Victor, E-R. V as in Victor, sacrifice of Victor. At approximately 1:25, Olsen calls Prince a celebrity, a community member, and a good neighbor. He further states to his family he is a loved one. We know little of Prince's family, even after 40 years of speculation. The actual blood ties are extremely thin, to say the least, including his full-blood relationship with Taika. Olsen acknowledges the media's right to information. He says nothing of the people's right to information. I, on the other hand, believe in the people's right to know. So if you would allow me, I will introduce to you the players and the family they are actually referring to. I will answer why the reporter who asked at 18 minutes, 12 seconds, was the body released to his sister Taika? Weaver responding, his body was released to his family. That's a yes or no question, ma'am. Was his body released to Taika? And she answered, W-E-A-V as in Victor. Martha said, his body was released to his family. Now we're going to learn who that family is. I believe I read a quote one time where Prince Rogers Nelson was known to say that his the people surrounding him would be like the Godfather or something, where everybody got killed or something, because you can't be somewhere down the middle, not too good, not too bad. There's only the truth and the dark. one side or the other. It's not my side or your side or whatever. It's the truth or the dark. So I'm here to shed light so that we can all understand what the dark is so we can banish it, you know? So let us consider the lyrics of Count the Days. Here's a church. Here's a steeple. Here's a mother that I gotta blow away. Here's my chance to kill the ears of the people. But not until I make this mother pay. And baby, I count the days. Little off key because I'm a little nervous. I do it much better when he's singing. And then he goes on to say, if I keep your secrets, will you keep mine? If we hurry, we can catch the train. If it was left up to you, I would die in pain. This song, along with countless others, since we are counting already, tell us that Prince wants to pay back someone who held control over him. Mass media will acknowledge that Prince wrote Slave on his face to protest Warner Brothers owning his master tracks. The real protest, unacknowledged, silently coursing through his veins. Still he danced on. It wasn't just for you or I, or even his own desire to be famous. Prince Rogers Nelson was contractually bound to do so in ways that go beyond our imaginations. Alas, I will try. Depicting himself as Violet the organ grinder being defined as having no real power of their own. Their only purpose is to get money for their boss. No better than a street monkey collecting coins to the delight of onlookers. An organ grinder. The enslavement to Warner Brothers was a cover to a deeper enslavement, yet our man found ways to expose them, the others. He did it lyrically, musically. He knew loopholes and was shown how to win against those that would rather not see him alive. He sang about them in their faces. He transcended rules and bestowed to us hidden messages laced with epic music. You know who said that? Me. I wrote it on 6/1/2017. I'll read it again. He knew loopholes and was shown how to win against those that would rather not see him alive. He sang about them in their faces. He transcended rules and bestowed to us hidden messages laced with epic music. Moving forward, my hope is that you are able to keep an open mind to the things that I'm sharing with you, even if you're not familiar. I'm confident that the information will answer some lingering questions, even if the explanations sound bizarre. Here you see the words cat, vat, and con. Vatican. Cat, Vatican. I will further be calling the Vatican cat, which is what our beloved did. The contractual obligations span not only through generations, but through lifetimes. A great deal of hideous, unspoken, or esoteric secrets remain untold in the catacombs under the Vatican, under the cat. They will disgust and frighten you thoroughly if you take the time to investigate without proper forewarning. Aside from historically holding secrets about Da Vinci, Cat is well known for Project Paperclip. This was an undercover project where the highest-ranking Nazi and Italian scientists were illegally brought in to work for America. They channeled them through the Vatican. What the Vatican did is they brought in all the Nazi scientists, Italian and Nazi scientists, through Brazil, because they're real, Catholic over there in South America and in Brazil. And they snuck them in by way of that. And that was Project Paperclip. It is by no coincidence that the CIA, formed shortly thereafter, and formed the National Securities Act of 1947. These scientists were coveted for their sheer genius, so of course America wanted them. For instance, Dr. Joseph Mengele, I'm not sure. That was more French than German. Mengele? I don't know. Stop it, Elizabeth. From Auschwitz. It's not funny. Joseph was popular for trafficking babies and children through a great deal of Catholic orphanages. In 1944, his specialty being D1X, that was meant to define human endurance and human capability, inflicting pain on a child until he or she would almost black out and the soul escapes to another place while they're being brought back physically and mentally with an opioid. No, I won't. These people, these scientists, took children from orphanages. All you have to do is look about all the mothers that would, 50s, 60s, whatever, beyond 40s, 30s, would get pregnant and they'd be sent away to live at these homes, and they would just take their babies and they would disappear into Catholic orphanages. Well, now we know what's happening to them. Okay. It was huge. This has all been well researched. And if you're brave enough, you can research it for yourself, or you don't have to. You can just, move on to the good stuff. So they tortured them because what they wanted to do was to make our soul that is within us and within our bodies that we know to be us, torture you until that pain would cause you to pass out. Your soul escapes. And well, it goes on to tell, I'll read it. Sorry. You can look up Gerald Astor, The Last Nazi, 1974. That's where some of that came from. Paraneuropsychologies and multi-generational occultism was the order of the day, is what I wrote. I typed this out a lot better than I read it. Throughout time, the mysteries of religion have mystified a multitude. Prince Rogers Nelson was no different. He implored us constantly to take a look in the good book. It wasn't just the Bible he teased us to learn more about. The veil surrounding the mystery of his persona was not meant to be lifted until now. The earliest books will lead us to the Book of Dead in Egypt. The earliest books about these things, paranormal things and lives and religions and things. After the Catholic Inquisitions in the 13th century, Satanism seemed to be all that survived. That Satanism is well known to have been veiled by esoteric groups under the guise of Catholicism and others. KKK, the Kingdom Hall, the X Center especially, all of them especially. Anyway, in 1776, which coincidentally, right, 1776, that's our Declaration of Independence, right? This Adam Weishaupt, Weishaupt, was commissioned by the Rothschilds to centralize this onslaught of power, all these scientists, all these foul people that did these things. And he was commissioned, like, you get commissioned to do a painting or a portrait or something. He was commissioned to get these people a home base for all the power and all the disgust. So that base is what they refer to as the Illuminati, the NWO, the New World Order, 33rd degree Masonry, Disney, Mickey Mouse games, M&M killers playing Mickey Mouse games. Eugenics, selective breeding in 1932, experiments on humans in order to create a master race of human beings with endurance, strength, and loyalty beyond reproach, slaves. These slaves are trained in ways too gross to mention. Enslavement of twins was high on the scientists' priority list due to the exciting possibilities for alter personalities and telepathy, among others. Using electrotherapy, shock, and torture creates trauma bonding. It would bond the twins together and they protect each other and mind free and stuff like that. Often young, same age children were paired. They weren't always twins. Older torture trainers trained the younger trainers who would be responsible for various tortures. They would always have an older trainer there with a younger trainer so they wouldn't be too lenient or too mean or too crazy or whatever, but they all did their torture together because, of course, they'll get killed if they don't. It's all a pretty big, disgusting system, and it's really horrifying. Please trust and believe. The Navy's covert brainwashing techniques were implemented in 1947 and has everything to do with Maui and why Hawaii is in fact an American naval base. The island, I believe, is akin to the island of Dr. Moreau. DNA experimentation based on hidden technological ability. It gives the government a place to practice holographics. I know that for certain from my visit. It's one really big mirage. As I wrote, I digress. Prince was on George Lopez stating that everyone should stop cursing, or that everyone could stop cursing if they tried. When Lopez asked what P said upon kicking the bed at night, he responded, artichoke. That's because Project Chattering Teeth, changed to Project Bluebird. Think Disney, the whistling bluebird. It's always standing whistling. That was renamed Artichoke. So first, it was Project Chatter. That's where we get the chattering teeth, and you twist them up and they chatter, chatter, chatter. That was changed to Project Bluebird, and then they renamed it Artichoke. So that's why P was telling us that he said artichoke. Always telling us, always teaching. I stalked him. I can't help it. He told me, the reel that I saw. I was like, oh, that's why I'm this freak about all things Prince Rogers Nelson, all things. And it's God, it's the creator. It's not just this man that walked the earth as Prince, but that was just a part of his man self soul. So I have to relate it to that so you guys can understand. He's just that awesome. Back to the essay. I hope I'm not boring you. One moment. That was silly, pardon me. It's live. The show must go on. This was another government project to determine the truthfulness of selected government agents. People wonder how they got away, or they think, oh, these things aren't real. But they got away with it, the MK Ultra programming, the stuff like that, because what the government would say is that they were using these opioid experiments to determine the truthfulness of selected government agents, hypnosis, radiation, electroshock, LSD, and various sociology techniques implemented for optimum torture. Operation Often was meant specifically to harness the occult forces, the generational occult forces. Project Operation Often, it's called. When an altar is created, their own personal triggers are tracked and used against them. These traumas are grotesque. Things like a blow to the head followed by the sound of boiling water, documented as leaving victims feeling lightheaded as if one were floating like a butterfly. Stinging like a bee, perhaps? No wonder P saying about Cassius Clay, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. All these people were put through this stuff, believe it. You and I are put through it too. That's why you recognize it, just in ways a little less noticeable, through the TV and the skagazines and the televisions and the radiation and the toothpaste and the fluoride and the food, you know. Further, occultism is evidenced in the usage of the word psych, the meaning of both soul and butterfly. P used it on the Party Man video, among other places. It is while he was handing the monkey the banana towards the end. He peels it down and it says psych on the Party Man video. The song Whitecaps. I saw a black butterfly lose its wings today, cinched by the candle underneath the archway. Wherever they land, they'll have to stay. The word butterfly is used in a multitude of times throughout the lyrics. Moreover, one of the last emails on 421 in the investigation, it was found, though not publicized. It states that, I believe it was Nicole Scherzwinger, which, come to find out through some research, I didn't know that she was one of the Pussycat Dolls people, that she sent an email that they said was home shopping bloopers. And then the next email said that would be a butterfly, LOL. So I know I went a little off track of the essay, but my point was that they use Butterfly, Project Monarch, Butterfly. They call it Print Butterfly, Psych, Soul, Butterfly. In these documented cases, victims are called slaves and handlers are called God or Master. As part of the investigation, Prince's brother called Larry Graham Prince's handler. 75% are female, as they have a higher tolerance for pain and can more readily be used in sex crimes, prostitution, and pornography. And my question is, why is Prince so close to porn? Because, you know, on the Twitter, it would be written P.R.N., which is how I write it, because there's Prince Rogers Nelson and there's Prince during the investigations and so forth, clones, yada, yada. So when you write Prince, I said, why is Prince so close to porn? So if you take out the tiny little O, it's P.R.N., Prince Rogers Nelson, tiny little O. Didn't think about that, did you? Anyway, I wrote on ringleader Mengele, I don't know, it's Mengele, Mengele, in Auschwitz, was known to play the I love you not game. Think about all the cartoons where we've seen where the kids pluck out flowers and say, he loves me not. Well, that all relates back. All of the Dr. Seuss, all the Mother Goose, all this stuff, it's all for a reason. And if you read the Disney Art of Deceit of Lying thing, you'll see. Anyway, he was known to play the I love you not game and kill a 4-year-old in front of other children. He used the pseudonym Dr. Green, think Dr. Green Jeans from Captain Kangaroo. The children were punished by being put in cages with monkeys specifically trained to torture them. He didn't see any difference between animals and people, so to them it was all the same. The children themselves were the same to him. Oh, see, they already said it. I said it. The children themselves were the same to him, yet they were made to call him daddy and play the daisy game. Prince tells us that he ain't never going down the daisy chain, along with other depiction of this game. Daisies are also used in the Disney program, The Art of Lying. Daisy programming represents life or death programming. I think it's the original NPG or Exodus. It's a yellow background, and then Prince and the band are sitting. There's a yellow background and there's daisies floating in the air and there's like other stuff floating. It's in the 90s. Check it out. I think it's the original Exodus. That's also part of the daisy programming there. Included in this daisy programming, a castle appears and a Pegasus flies around. They swim in water, and water can be glass. Mirrors are put in the internal system. A mirror can be a piece of glass, a water surface, or an asphalt runway. If you know Prince music, you might be beginning to understand the various ways in which this knowledge is expressed through his lyrics and art. Think about When Doves Cry. Mirrors, the dance. There's a mirror on one side, half a body. When Doves Cry, this is what it sounds like. It's all there. The piece of glass, reflection, the song Reflection, try to catch the glass before it falls. Everything is a reflection. So if you see evil in other people, it's because you need to fix what's evil in yourself. If you're able to see good character and wonderful things and want other things for other people, it's because you're wonderful in your soul. We're all wonderful in our soul. We've just been through so much. So I'm trying to help us realize. So we're getting to that. Okay? Got to get through the ugly stuff to get to the good stuff. So all these things you would use, and even the pictures out there of P, on the asphalt runway, they're all triggers. Think Britney Spears cutting off her hair. We all know it's true. Okay, it just is. A crown is placed upon the female centaur and 2 doves. More importantly, during burial and resurrection ceremonies, lilies are used for crowns. Lily, a lily of the valley flower, meaning Lilith, for the biblically inclined. This is the flower in which Prince is depicted in the tight red outfit in Love to the Nines, and he holds that white flower behind his back. That's a lily. It's a fleur-de-lis. It means lily, and it relates to Lilith, the flower of Lilith. And that was known to be, in some studies, known to be Lilith was like, I don't know, the first consort of Adam or something. I'm not really sure exactly. But it relates to that because people want to have control of him. They're all playing their dirty games. Sorry. Lastly, all the happy cherubs and unicorns fly over the rainbow. Sexually, the unicorn represents androgyny. Musicians tend to be androgynous. All walks of life are utilized, abducted, trained, and tortured. The diversity needed to gather as much information as possible to use against us, the unsuspecting masses. A large percentage of these survivors, they come from these multi-generational bloodlines, families. They get out of these cults and places and they tell, not a lot of them are successful, but they do. And that's where this comes from. And it is very generational because they want to keep their bloodlines pure and the incest and stuff like that because it makes them more powerful in their eyes or something. I don't know exactly. They are programmed to believe they are the chosen ones and they are superior to other humans in every way. They, through various means of torture, cochlear, or bodily implants, have a generation of dormant, programmed individuals specifically waiting for activation orders. They're like robots. They're like robot people, and they have implants in them. They started using, as I mentioned earlier, when they would do the cochlear implants in the beginning, they've done horrible tests where they, smash your head with make it sound like your head is smashed, and then the sound of boiling water to create like massive anxiety, and then you're like, so this stuff is crazy. So anyway, they are practicing the art of subduing large crowds and implementing new millennium societal norms, and they will use lethal force. They may use clones and or soulless ones. Think Antifa or anti-family. That's what Antifa is, part of it. Vatican, anti-family, Antifa. They are the remnants of Cain, as I have come to learn. The Illuminati has the US, you, us, I, we, divided into 7 geographical regions, each region with its own council with 13 members, an advisory board of 3 elders to each one. The Kingdom Hall participants run their system quite the same way. Is it any wonder that Prince's handler would have been Larry Graham and the so-called heresy forced? That's why he said he was that. I have the other video, Was He Really? You can go check that out. The research on human slave has never ceased. It has only changed Morpheus Matrix style. We were all born into the same plantation, the America of the red, white, and blue. Since slaves are programmable, our brains are unwittingly submitted to spooky electric. Our brains are like a big circuit board, as studied by scientists, programmable, complete with password, most often several. Am I right? Huh? That was supposed to be funny. Consider the word insidious. It's crafty, but in a subtle, low-key manner. Look at it. Insidious, inside us, inside US. Insidious and crafty, the art of lying. Carver County Sheriff's Office, Hennepin County, all those people, I'm going to brief this up because it's 45 minutes, are all guilty in the insidious plan against Prince Rogers Nelson, better known as the one, the Almighty God, Adonai, Creator, Master of the Universe. I am Insof, the Honorable Sea of Souls, Creator, Infinite. The plan I'm always speaking about on my YouTube, on this channel. Remember, it's written. The plan to create another creator. Think Cain and Abel sacrifice. One was accepted, one was not, and a brother murdered brother. The one creation wasn't accepted. Is that because that was our creation of reality, this false reality and false creator? To be in control of that ultimate energy takes teamwork of biblical proportions, hence the background on the evil that exists in this space and time. You can't defend yourself from an enemy if you don't recognize or acknowledge them. Like ping pong, back to Prince's family, known heretofore as TF, the Illuminati consists of 13 bloodlines that see themselves as the enlightened or chosen ones. The Merovingian, which is interesting too, because Merovingian is just like Maroon's name and Maroon Israel, as I was telling you guys about. Merovingian vampire bloodline. Maroon. Yes. So, the vampire bloodline being the ones currently vying for power, to the best of my understanding. They call themselves the master race, yet they need humans to keep them in a place of power. Insert spooky electric programming. They, the others, used what the 33rd degree Masons know and have held as the ultimate esoteric knowledge. That knowledge is that no Christ was ever killed in a way that his energy could not be harnessed. His consciousness, experiments, lab rats, or humans make no difference to them. We, as a race, are disposable, and they are in the midst of extermination. Prince Rogers Nelson, the one, the creator, he is that power that they're harnessing by way of contract. But don't make any mistake, he's still in control. He needs their kind to show us what's wrong. I couldn't disclose every detail if I tried. I am, however, attempting to leave you with the information he tells me or that I've discovered along the way. Eckankar Center, across the street from Paisley Park, throughout the investigation, they refer to it as the facility. As in when Andrew Kornfeld is being interviewed by Patrick Murphy, pointing out his father, Howard Kornfeld, on the scene. After such, he was asked, is your doctor at the facility? More than that, Eckankar has a sour history. Founded in 1965 by Paul Twitchell, he made himself the first Eckmaster. Succeeded by Sri Harold Klemp, same initials as Howard Kornfeld, which I found truly interesting, or Hell's Kitchen. Eckankar is a front for the lie, the energy that has been contractually harnessed and used against us until now, snake oil. They sell astral travel, oneness with the creator. It's all there. Go check it out. It's a laboratory. It's complete with underground tunnels. They talk about the tunnels in the PI investigation. Another reason Paisley Park was built as a compound, it wasn't just to keep bad people out. It was to keep people in. MK Ultra programming and study of sciences, including opiate-induced comas. How'd they learn hypnosis? How'd they keep me under for so long? Howard Kornfeld and all the others, they are actually others. They have been bred for this purpose. They are those dormant Autobots I mentioned earlier. That is why Detective Johnson mentions going to the basement to check for carbon monoxide levels with Hastings, though Hastings says nothing about it. He doesn't remember. Memory lapses are apparent throughout the investigation in which Jim Olsen promised no stone unturned. I'm going to leave that there because I didn't want to get into too much into the investigation. What I wanted to tell you guys was that Eckankar, after all the other things that I've showed you, it related some. Well, I guess there's no other way to do it, you guys. Because these things relate to Maui and Hawaii and stuff like that, I need to show you why. I know I just jumped ship on there, but I have to do that to save time. In my writings, we can see that in the original Hebrew, I wrote Adam, as we say in English, Adam, Abraham, it's actually Avraham, and then Ahava, which is the name of Abraham. It means love, and they took it and they, in Maui, they use it and change the wording, mirror spelling, change it as road to Hana. It's the 808. You can see where the writings come out, and if you cross out Ahava, then if you look at it sideways and upside down, it can become Vatican as well as Lahaina, because in Maui, where the naval base is, there's a city called Lahaina. They do a lot of really evil things, and they have some things going on there that have to do with the center and the way that they work the whole operation, because it is of biblical proportions, because we're talking about the creator. And yes, I do have to be pretty emboldened to come here and sit here and say this. And it's just what I'm meant for. Maybe I'm one of them. Like, maybe, like, let me say this. I'll say this. I mentioned it before, like in my life after life, when I was there talking to the one, our master, I was just as dumbfounded as you guys. But see, the thing is, what I was told, like, it's not only that I was watching Prince and like being a stalker to the music and to all those things. At that same time, the music was leading me to God, and I was on this other, what I thought separate search for God, but I knew the music was always leading me there. So I get so excited and am able to say our creator, our master, these things, that because I'm totally comfortable with it, because when I passed away, like before I met him in that capacity, because I had passed all these tests or whatever, they asked me what it was that I wanted to know or be or something, or, and I said I just wanted the truth, the truth, the truth. That's all I ever wanted, was the truth. I was always looking for the truth with, soul journey and everything. And so when I met him and he said, hey, I am the truth. It's going to make you speechless when you stand and meet him too. Not just because of what you see as the flesh, but because, I mean, man, he wants to show himself to us, you guys, but he can't do that. Like, he told me when I was there that he knew these things about himself, who he was and whatever, but contractually he couldn't tell us. But also, like, he tried in all the various ways to tell us, but it's not something that's very easy to say about yourself. Like, when I come here and I say these things, people probably sit back and think that I think I'm pretty special. And like I said, I love myself and I'm proud of myself for all the things that I've accomplished in the way of what I'm doing here and my sole purpose. But I wouldn't be able to do all this without him. And I want you guys to know what all you're capable of doing with him too. And he wants to expose that to you. And he's very shy, and you just have to talk to him. He's going to show himself in a greater way very soon. But not until we start recognizing and acknowledging, which is why I keep coming here. Even if it doesn't happen till, something happens to me or in another life or in a universe, maybe I won't be here to say this, so I'm going to say it now. So whatever the reason, I'm still going to do it. Nobody's going to stop me. You guys, the thing about Maui is this, and the vampires and things. There's the volcano out there that I mentioned, Haleakala, before. These are some writings. I don't know how, or why on exactly all of them, but I'll try to do my best. I want to share them with you before I go. Oh, my shirt. C.E.R.N came out to be con energy. Now, within the word energy, you can see that if you did it in lowercase e's, that there would be 3 6s, right? Yes, look at the word energy. Con energy. Okay, and this is how my writings go, and it may look a little crazy, but I want to share it with you. Up there, you can see where the AMPER, that is amperes. That's how amperes, how they measure electricity. But then that word turned into the word vampires. see how it turns right there, vampires. That's how it turns in, and that's how he tells me stuff. It turns into this really cool, crazy writing. It tells me about electricity and plectrum electrum. I'm going to show you a few more. If I write the word Exodus, the letters begin to expose things to me, like exit us or exit us. What does that say? Exit Christ, virus, DNA, Xerox copy. That there was a copy. Con Christ energy is what I was saying. C.E.R.N, which is depicted on the Graffiti Bridge album cover, the bubbles. Those are the particle energy bubbles, as I mentioned in the other video, from C.E.R.N. So he was also trying to draw our attention to that. And so when I was doing all these things, I was like in that trance. And C.E.R.N was being written. So I didn't just sit down and do these weird things. They happened. Okay. Things like this would happen with the EA, the 6-9. We've talked about it in the other videos. You have to go watch the gematria. In egg, it's EGG, right? But it's also EG, which is a 6-9 upside down. So the term 69 is why the term 69 is such a big joke. It all relates back to sex, the egg. It all, everything that you've ever come to know in life will relate back to itself upon this redemption time that we all experience, and when our awareness is above time and space, which is where I was when I passed, and throughout all these things that come to me. So anyway, that 6-9 or EA, you have to remember they're basically the same thing. So it began to tell me that the mark of the beast, or this 69, was happening with holograms out at Haleakala volcano where I was in Maui in the 808. I didn't know why these things are happening, you guys. Now, and then I wrote things like this: con energy conspired to conceive the IE. They want to conceive. There's no CI in Hebrew. So the word conceive, con Eve. Somebody wants to be the first woman to be with the Creator. I think that Lilith, that energy, that Taika twin sister energy, that all the females that they try to blaspheme and say that he was known to go out with and do this and that, they're in hiding, and they're all trying to serve the same purpose, and that is to own and be, and to have plastic surgery and be chlorine bacon skin instead. Anyway, it started telling me of marina warfare. I didn't know why. This was in the spring of 22, spring of 20, you guys know. That there would be water, murder, electric murder, war. And then, you guys, the word war, R-A-W-A-R, is ram upside down. Ram or war. Like, think about it. In the Bible, he provided a ram, blah, blah, blah. They all relate to each other. I will continue to harp on it. Now, these things just happen. You guys might think, oh, so what? They're just drawings, or you might like them. I don't know. Haleakala started to tell me things. There's the 6-9, but it also spelled out hell. And then it started to tell me of this electric rapture, that there was going to be an electric rapture out there above the highest volcano, and that it would spread out all over the world so that everybody could see it. And then it told me about Project Bluebeam. Well, here's some more drawings. They're pretty cool. See, they just kind of, you can tell probably that nobody would sit down and really just draw something like that. Probably it would tell me New Year's Eve, end times, electrocute, Easter egg. The reason they use Easter egg, and it's also insulting. It's an insult. It's pagan, all that and that. People always wonder why the egg. Well, they say it's for fertility and da-da-da-da. It's because of the egg. This is where it told me in upside down writing. It told me rapture, rupture. Think Blondie's song Rapture. It told me Project Bluebeam. I had never heard of Project Bluebeam in my life, but I went and looked it up, and come to find out there was another gentleman whose name I can't remember, who was known to spout about a conspiracy called Project Bluebeam, which would include an NWO implementation of martial order to implement a new religion across the world, which is like those drones that are ready to be programmed. Because what better way to scare out of you than to make you think your creator came and went and you got left and now you all have to fold to this or die. Now, the fact that one of the reasons that I'm here is to majorly make you guys understand that you don't have to be afraid of death. Like, the whole world is sold on being afraid of death, but it's freeing. There's a reason that they call Neo in the Matrix. There's a reason that the song says Neapolitan born to rule. Okay, first of all, it spells the one, Neo, one. But I mean, that's him. That's, sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. That happens. Anyway, so Project Blue Green, NASA. Now, also what I was told, and I was keeping track of, you guys, is that the fact that Maui, or the governor out in Maui's name is Michael Victorino. Victor, I know. Victorino. You think that's a coincidence? Nothing's a coincidence. It's all the plan. So what started to happen is that the word Hawaii was telling me AI war, Paiwei May, like in the movie Kill Bill, Paiwei May, the 5-point trigger, whatever it is. It started telling me that that's what was going to happen to America, that we were going to be attacked from sides, from our bridges, air, and like water, which is, again, goes to the shipping containers that I talked about in the last video that I made. The word America started relating to Amir, Hawaii, AI war, Hava, all those things. And it just started talking about holograms. And it also, I took on notes about Pearl Harbor and 666. Even Pearl Harbor has the 666 strokes in them. Everything that's being done out there, you guys, is rigged. Because I do believe that that's what's going to happen, and I don't know when, and I don't know exactly what. The fact is that I might have a hard time understanding everything that I'm saying if I didn't have the creator's firsthand direction. I try to make it through all this. I try to make it fun. I don't really try to do anything. I'm just trying to be me. I have so much stuff, good stuff planned. Like, this whole book is dedicated to Maui. It may not look like much, but it goes on about Haleakalea, and just the history of Maui, and how in the 1800s, the wars that went on, the museums that are out there, the double-peaked mountains. It's all in there. So it's all well researched. Whether or not it's going to happen or when it's going to happen, you guys, I'm not trying to like say that or be that. Like I said, this might not even happen in my lifetime, but since we're all here and there's YouTube, I have a sole purpose to fit. So I'm going to say it, and I'm going to keep trying. I know I kind of wandered all over the place, but the thing is, you guys have to realize that, like I said, even if you write down the word P, investigation, write down P, investigation, it says pi, investigation. It's the pi equation. It's the pi, it's the 21, it's everything I've explained to you. I don't know what to do next. I had a great family time for my birthday, then had some disagreements with my family, whom I love dearly, more than, I won't say more than anything else, because I love this with the creator, with trying to bring truth and peace to the world, more than anything else. Each and every one of you have a soul purpose, just like I do. All of our purposes are not the same. But before, I guess, you get given that purpose, you gotta correct, man. You gotta come correct, and you gotta come honest with yourself and with your creator. And if there's something stopping you from talking to him, don't let it, you guys, because that's the fear tactic. That's the you're not good enough. You can go when you're clean. You can go when you're this. You can go when you're that. If you wait for that, you'll never go, because this path doesn't get any easier. He's in the dirt with you. He already knows the dirt. He just is waiting for you to tell it to him so that you can be honest, so that he can start helping you to help yourself. I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm just a pretty peaceful person. And like I said, I'm very grateful that I have this supervision. He was told, like, I don't know what we did when I was there in my life after life. We shared something, a drink, maybe, like, maybe they made me some kind of robot, Autobot person. Like, I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm going to do what I'm told, what I can hear, and what's right. Um, what do I hope to get from all this is to clean souls, because I know that something is coming, like a World War III type scenario or something. There has to be consequences. I'm just not sure how it's all going to go down. I wouldn't feel it so intensely. Maybe it happens in another realm or another universe, but I intensely feel that some things are going to happen here. And I want people to know their creator so that they're not scared, so that they don't take the chips, so that if there is crazy stuff happening and people falling at this side and this side, God forbid, there's an answer for it waiting on the other side. Now, I share these things with you not to come here and be cool and have a cool channel. It's very hard for me. Um, I always want to do better. I always have more things to say. I always look at these words when you leave and think, man, I should have said that, or I should have said that. Um, we've all been enslaved by opiates, by a brainwashing system, you guys. Like, all the things that they practiced on the soldiers and on these truth serums and on the scientists, they watered it down in a way that it could be used through fluorides and dentistry and, foods and poisons. You guys know, you know what you know. And you might not want to acknowledge it or recognize it or think, what can I do? But pray, ask, and pray over your food. Be grateful that you can see, be grateful that you wake up in the morning. Thank Hashem many, many times a day, but do it with your whole heart. Do it with truth. Do it with, or don't do it at all, because that's as bad as contributing to lies when you do something insincere or false, especially knowing that it's false. You have to answer for absolutely every single thing that you have ever done. And I want everybody to be comfortable with that. When I passed away, I did. Like, they asked me, you ready to do this now? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, you can't. Like, everybody that comes here just lies way too much. And I said, no, there's nothing that I haven't already talked to my creator about. And it turned out to be true. So again, I guess another reason why I got this truth to share with you is because he knew that I wouldn't be greedy with it, that I wouldn't try to take any weird kind of power from it and use it for myself, like make voodoo dolls or like crazy. I don't know what, man. I really don't know what. Because all I want to do is come and talk about the truth and save souls and try to be good and better and better. I'll probably let this one slide for now, because I probably had some more things that I wanted to share, but I don't know. I appreciate you listening. As always.